All right, so you got your rod and your reel all set to go. You got your line on there. You got your split shot rig all rigged up as a Texas rig. Now it's time to go fish this. Hey folks, welcome to Casting with Kirk. I'm Kirk, welcome back. Today we're going to go out and we're going to go fish our rig. I'm going to show you 2 casts and 2 quick retrieves with the lure that you've got tied on. All right, so let's go head to the lake. Let's go have some fun. It's a beautiful day out. Yeah, you got to grab your stuff. You're going with me. Let's go to the lake. The proper way to hold your spinning rod and reel is put this shaft between your second and third fingers and just grip around it. You want tight hold, but not too tight where you're going to wear yourself out gripping it too tight, or that you're not going to be able to get a nice smooth cast. Just a nice light grip with that between your 2 fingers. Okay? When you go to cast, you're going to then get my lure off here, get them all set. When you go to cast, you're going to take your index finger with your casting hand and you're going to pull that line right up against the rod. And that's how you're going to hold it. You're just going to hold it right up against there behind your finger. So when you release your bail, the line doesn't go anywhere. When you go to cast, you're actually going to hold it with the one hand, take your other hand and just grip the butt of the rod, just nice and lightly. And it's just going to be a smooth over your head and cast out. And when you come forward with it, you're just going to release that line from behind your finger. And when you let the lure hit the water, you're just going to manually grab over and close your bail and then begin reeling. Okay, so I'm going to show you real quick. Up over your shoulder and release. Hits the water, close the bail. Now since it's already out there, we're going to talk about the first retrieve. Is you let that lure fall straight down. So now it's sitting on the bottom. You're just going to take your rod and make a couple of pops with it and bring it up. Reel up the slack line, pop it, let it fall back down to the bottom, reel it up, pop it, let it fall, and you just keep doing that. Just give it a couple little pops, reel up that slack line, let it sit, because that lure is actually falling down, lays down, you pop it back up, falls back down, pop it back up, falls back down. That's what entices the fish to hit. One more time. Pull that line up against the rod with your finger. Use your other hand, release the bail. Go to cast, grab the back end, just up and over your shoulder, a nice smooth arcing motion, and as it comes out in front of you, you're just going to go ahead and release the line and let the lure fly. Now it hit the water, I'm going to use my hand and manually close the bail. Don't ever crank on it, that'll cause line twist. Just manually reach over and close the bail. Okay, now the second retrieve, I'm just going to do kind of a jerking motion and snap the rod to get that bait to dart back and forth. As I'm reeling it up, I'm just jerking the rod, causing that bait to dance. Looks like a darting bait fish. The second type of cast that we're going to talk about, I like to just call the flick cast. You're just going to, again, pull the line up, hold it against the rod, open that bail, and instead of coming up and over your shoulder, you're just going to kind of reach it out to the side and just flick it with your wrists and let it go. A lot of times that's a good technique to use if you're in really close to your cover, in close to docks. Say you're standing on the shoreline fishing and you got a bush in front of you and you want to get out and around it, you can just use that little flick cast. Instead of using the whole arm, you're just using your wrist to make a flick cast. Again, I flicked it out there, it's in the water. I can now sit here and just pop it up and down to try and entice the fish. I can sit and jerk it, make it dance and swim. I can even stop it again, now pop it up and down. Because they'll tell you, the fish will tell you what kind of retrieve they want. When you use the flick cast, you can go right shoulder or over your other shoulder. It's just a little flick Again, open up the bail holding the line. Now I'll go to this side and flick it straight out. And you get pretty good distance with it. Again, now I'm just going to pop it to retrieve it. Give it a couple of pops, let it sit back down to the bottom. So wind up, give it a couple of pops, let it fall back down. So a quick review on this. You're holding that rod and reel nice and light, but you got a decent grip on it. You're going to pull that line with your index finger up to the rod, open your bail with your hand, grip the bottom of it, and as you come forward, a nice arcing motion. Right as you get out in front of you, release the line. I'm going to show you the tip on how to stop the lure before it gets to your target. I'm going to use the flick cast. I've gone ahead and pulled my line up. I've opened up my bail. I'm going to flick it out just as it's getting near the target. If I want to stop it short, I'm just going to grab the spool and stop the line from coming off. And it stops it now short in case I did an overcast where it's heading onto the top of a dock or it's going to go into the logs that I'm casting at. I can just reach down and stop it. Don't ever just crank on it to stop it. Always manually close the bail because that can cause a line twist. But that's how you can stop your cast from going haywire and going all over the place. All right, so that is how we cast a spinning rod two different ways. Just your overhead cast and a flick cast. And the two retrieves are just popping it, reeling it, popping it, reel up, pop it, reel up, and then also just giving your line a twitch with the rod and reeling it and making it dance. Well, folks, thanks for joining me out here on the water. You've now learned how to cast your spinning rod and reel. You've learned a couple of casts, a couple of retrieves. So now get out there, go practice, go try to catch yourself some bass. All right, if you like this types of information, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, follow along. I've got plenty more information to pass on. If you have any questions, just go ahead and cast those down below and we'll start a conversation. I thank you for joining me today, and you folks have yourself a great day.